While my dream isn't to be this close to Alcatraz, our guest today does know how to follow her dreams.
Dreams. Here I am in San Francisco, and today's guest, Krista Houston, is not only a Jeffrey Award winner, but they've made some sacrifices to follow their dreams, from traveling across Europe to Triple Crown, all kinds of hiking, living in a car, seasonal jobs. This is a fun episode about the sacrifices it actually takes to do the things you want to do. And so, live from San Francisco, this is the intro. To follow all things Free Outside, basically just Google Free Outside. And if you want to support this content, patreon.com/free outside, subscribe, 5-star reviews, all of that is very welcome. And here is Krista. All right, you have won a Jeffrey for the Most Tragic FKT. Do you have a speech to give here?
Yes, thank you. I feel undeserving. I don't know who to thank the nomination for. I feel like there are other deserving candidates. I'm not gonna lie. Out of the lineup, I feel like mine didn't feel too tragic. I felt pretty happy with it. So, but I've never won an award of this prestige, so I feel honored, and it will hang on my trophy case when it arrives in the mail.
Yeah.
So thank you.
The virtual trophy case. It will hang on. Yeah. I mean, it's a very biased award show, but we're very transparent about our biasness, and I guess we just decided a double Tahoe Rim Trail FKT that wasn't an FKT should be the Most Tragic FKT.
Perfect. I love it.
So why did you decide to do the Tahoe Rim Trail not once but twice?
I have literally no good reason. Me and my husband, Eric, we were walking on the Hot Springs Trail last summer, and like all year we're like, okay, we're going to do an FKT on our trail legs. It's going to be great. And I had so many ideas of what to do. And as we get closer to the end of trail, I was just like, I don't want to do any of them. There was nothing that was calling to me. And I was like, Tahoe Rim Trail is a nice trail. And like, I don't want to do it once because that doesn't feel like long enough. And I like a good loop, and doing it twice, I was like, this will be the perfect, playground to see if I could do 60s and also if I could just not sleep that much. So I was like, that's perfect. That's all I needed, and it worked, which is I don't know why I had the drive to do it, because it's nothing. It was a double. It was great. I recommend it, honestly.
Yeah, it was the best adventure ever.
Yeah, it was so good. It was perfect. It's a good trail.
Is that a jumping off point for other double loops that you want to do in the future? It's not even an out and back. It's a double loop, which is crazy.
I know, but clockwise and counterclockwise. So it's like you see it in two different angles. You're like, okay, it feels like a different trail, kind of. Yeah, honestly, I would do another double or a long out and back or something else. Yeah.
Would you do a triple of the Tahoe Rim Trail, do you think?
Yeah. No, legitimately, I would. But I feel like I need to give it some time, some distance, but I think a triple could be fun. I actually, 3 years ago, hiking the TRT, I met a guy named Loopy. And everyone who's hiked the TRT since then has met Loopy. And he hikes the TRT every single year. And when I met him, he was on his 11th loop of the year. And that's all he does. Yeah. So if you're on the TRT, you might meet him as well. But yeah, he was kind of motivation where I was like, okay, well, I'm never going to be like the most loopy, but I could do a couple. I can give it a shot. Yeah.
I think that's because rent is so expensive in Tahoe that he has to live on the trail. Maybe that's the only way.
Absolutely. We were there for like a couple years ago, and gas was $8 a gallon. And it was actually absurd. We were living in a vehicle, but it was still like, this isn't even worth it as a destination to be at.
No, that's like more than rent most places just to fill up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so I guess my last question on the Tahoe Rim Trail double were you aiming for an FKT? Did you submit it or want it to be an FKT?
So I was like, okay, I know this is probably an FKT inherently, an only known double, but I submitted the request to make it a route because there's no double as a category. And I was ghosted, no one ever got back to me. And I just didn't push, or I didn't send another follow-up email, which I definitely could have done. So I would, I guess, post it as a double just because it's there. If it's there, then someone's more likely to do it, and that'd be fun. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I have another follow-up. So if you got the FKT now, do you think you'd still be deserving of the award, or would we have to like rescind the award too?
Yeah, you'd have to rescind it, but I'm not giving it back. So it doesn't really matter. I already have it.
Yeah, I mean, the Garmin's pretty strong. We could really change some things, so we could send them after this.
Yeah, for sure.
So you and Eric live a really exciting life. How many countries have you guys been to?
Oh, so I am obsessive with lists, like to an absurd amount. So I can tell you, technically, I've been to 41, maybe?
41. And how old are you?
Yeah, I think so. 27.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
I did do a lot of traveling when I was young, though. So like a lot were family trips. But
I'm guessing Eric is not a list person.
No, he kind of is too. He keeps Excel sheets and like, yeah, we're both list people, which is kind of absurd, but in different ways. We're both into sorting it. Yeah.
And so do you know how many miles you've hiked and how many you've biked? Because that's kind of where I want to go next.
I do. I've hiked 14,500 or so, around there, working to 15. And biked 3,000 once, never again, probably.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what went wrong with the biking trip?
It wasn't hiking. That was the issue. Go.
Oh, was it just like stuck to where you could drive and it kind of lost the luster of exploration kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that was a large part of it. And I thought, I don't know, I've never been drawn to mountain biking because I don't like falling, and I fall a lot as a person, and I just don't want to fall from a bike if I could help it. So we were on mostly roads, kind of a little bit on like dirt roads, but it wasn't that exciting. It was kind of a nightmare to find camping because it was in Europe, but yeah, I don't know. We just like more and more, we were just like, oh man, I can't wait for the grocery store. We're going to spend like an hour or two just out front of the grocery store every single day. And that became the highlight. And when that's the highlight, it's like, okay. But I never feel that way hiking. Like hiking every day, I'm like, I go to bed, I'm like, I can't wait to wake up and hike more, at least most days. But biking, I didn't have that at all. Like, I don't think we did maybe like 2 months or something. And I don't think any one of the days was I like, oh yeah, it's going to be a great day tomorrow. I was just like, oh, guess my butt will hurt a little bit and we'll see some things and it'll be cool. And it was cool. There's like highlights, but just, I don't know. I'd rather hike with my time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people mostly know you and Eric for like trails and stuff in the US, but let's dive into that Europe trip because it's so interesting. Like the itinerary was like a bunch of hiking and a bunch of biking, and then it kind of went sideways and you just leaned into the hiking, right? Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, it was kind of, so the initial plan was to bike to every country in Europe and hit all the high points along the way and like do the little hike up. So that was like the whole birth of the idea. And so we kind of spent months planning, like trying to figure out what's the weather window, what's the visa window to do all of that. And it's kind of a nightmare. But for 2 years, we were saving, we were planning all that, and we were excited. And so we started in Malta because that was the most southern area we could start. Yeah, we started by hitting a very small high point in Malta. And we were like, oh, great, we're doing good. Like one of 45 that we were trying to hit for the summer or for the year. Then we biked through Italy, France, Germany, and then kind of ended in Poland. And yeah, we kept losing more and more steam. We were like, I don't know if I want to do this for 7 more months or whatever. And so then we just started like, okay, we're trying to find like good places to stop. Like, oh, where can we quit? And it would make perfect sense. But none of our trip made any sense because it feels like a mouthful to explain like, oh, we're going to bike to all the high points, then we're going to hike up. And it's just like a whole bunch of like looping around Europe because of the weather windows. So no one knew what we were doing anyway, so we just sold our bikes in Warsaw to some nice man. So hopefully our bikes are doing well. I bet they did not expect to be bought in Bend, Oregon, and then just end up the rest of their life in the dreary Warsaw of Poland.
The life of those bikes. Yeah, those bikes have to go to like some therapy after being abandoned with such promise for the rest of their lives and then just sold.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it a weird moment selling them? Like, what was it even like to find someone to buy your bikes?
Oh man. So I messaged a dude on Airbnb that we were staying. We were in Warsaw for one night. We arrive, we're like, okay, let's try and sell our bikes, but if not, we will literally leave it on the streets. We had train tickets or bus tickets booked. We did not care. We were like, whatever. So we messaged the guy on Airbnb and he's like, I know this guy at a bike shop that you can try reaching out to. And I was like, okay. So we go to the bike shop. No one speaks English. We're like, Google Translate. And then we see this dude and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll buy your bikes. We're like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, I just got to go to the bank like real quick. Can you wait here? And we're like, sure. And he comes back after like 30 minutes and he's like, there's an issue at the bank. Can you come to my house? I have money there. I can pay you. This is all through Google Translate. And we're like, yeah, it seems reasonable. We'll trust you. So we take a he also had Simpsons characters on his shoes. So just like an aside.
Wow.
But he was
Yeah.
like he was cool.
Important detail.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, so we took the metro with him like 20 minutes across town. Like he paid for it, you know, very nice. And he was like, okay, like we're just gonna go up to my like apartment. We're like, cool. This isn't what everyone tells you not to do. But we
Yeah.
follow him up and he opens up his apartment and his wife is there. And his wife is really nice and she speaks English and we chat with her for a while and he's like, here's I think it was the equivalent of like $500 for both bikes.
And you didn't
And we're
expect that. Like, you were just going to leave him on the street.
Yeah. We were like, if this doesn't timing wise work out, we're just gonna abandon them because it's not. We found out that no one buys bikes at bike shops in Poland. They'll only just like, you could donate them. So we were like,
Wow.
okay, well, we're not gonna go to all these bike shops and try and find someone. But this guy actually wanted the bikes for him and his wife. So we're like, perfect. Yeah. So we had tea and then we left and we took a bus later that day.
Wow. And then, so did you have to replan the rest of the entire trip, like on the fly in Poland?
Yeah, kind of. We were talking about different ideas of what to do, and there wasn't a lot because it was also freezing. That was another part that made bikepacking awful. It was so cold. It was March. There's nowhere good to be in March really in Europe, so we ended up going like a 40-hour bus rodeo to Greece. And we figured Greece was a good enough place to walk up, and there's not a super good long distance trail up Greece, but we kind of pieced together one by following the E4, which goes to like southern Greece, making our own 90-mile paved road connection to cross like over a bridge. We could have hitched. We for sure could have hitched. We did in Greece, but they're continuous. Why not? And then northern Pindus of Greece was dirt roads because there was not really a good path that you could take in the winter shoulder
Wow.
season. But yeah.
Did you have to like relearn where you could even camp and stay once you gave up your bikes?
Yes, but it got a lot easier once we were walking. When we were biking, it was really difficult. Like in Italy, we ended up staying in an abandoned building in different garbage patches. There was just like line to line private property, so it was not easy. And then in Greece, it actually was significantly easier. I think the biggest issue were like sheep herding dogs, and every once in a while we would be somewhere, we think it's good, and then a few hours into our sleep, we'd just be woken up by dogs, and we're like, we could probably stay, but we're gonna leave because I don't know. They're dogs, but.
Yeah, and they're protective over their flock and probably not going to be that happy if you're there the whole night too.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
And then, so was it once it became, we're not going to do this whole high point adventure, that
Yeah.
it just morphed into, we're going to explore Europe for as long as we plan to already?
Yep. Yeah. So we, at some point, decided when we were going to leave and we booked a plane ticket out of Germany, but that was in October. So we were like, okay, we have April to October to do something. And it was kind of designated where to go based off, we knew we could be in the Schengen area, which is almost all of Europe is a part of the Schengen area. You could be in it for 90 days in a 180-day period. And so in Greece, we knew that we had to be out of Greece in like, we had a month basically to walk the 700 miles. And so we knew that we would be in Albania, Montenegro, Kosovo, and Bosnia for another 2 months after that, and then another month in the UK to like wait out the Schengen visa issues. So that
Okay.
kind of made it easy for us to be like, okay, there's not that many places we could possibly be to like stay in Europe. But
Yeah. Do you have any like scary stories or things from traveling with just a backpack, walking the streets?
um the worst moment actually was in, I hate to say it because Bulgaria was one of the coolest places we hiked, but it was also like the one time that I had a scary moment. Me and Eric typically don't walk together all the time, and so he was ahead for the day, and it was approaching night. This is along the Komamine trail that crosses 300 miles across Bulgaria, and there was two guys who were standing by a fire. It felt kind of sus, but I was like, whatever. So like you go by, like I just kind of, you say hi is stravete, which is a
Okay.
mouthful, but they say that every
Yeah.
single time. They're just like stravete. But this dude is just being really weird. Like he just keeps talking to me and he's getting closer and closer and he's like, "Where you sleeping tonight?" or whatever, but there's just a bad energy. And I was actually scared, and I'm very rarely scared by like the people I meet along the way, but that was one moment that I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I should like keep going on the trail or if I should turn and keep going towards town. But the secondary guy eventually was like, "Oh, he said something in Bulgarian," and the dude backed off, and then I like ran away into the darkness. So that
Wow.
was one moment. Besides that, everyone was good, honestly. So one
Wow.
in
So would you and Eric just know where you're generally going to meet up at the end of the day? It's just so that he didn't
Yeah.
keep going forever.
Yeah. And we typically would do I wake up earlier in the morning, so I would run, or I would hike like 20 miles or so. I'd wait for him for like lunch, and then we'd have lunch and usually walk the rest of the day together, but that time he just happened to be ahead at nighttime. But we usually like we have some routine of, you know,
Hmm.
we got to be apart for a little bit so I can verbatim tell him all the podcasts and audiobooks that I listen to, because
Yeah. You have to fill him
what
in
else
on
are we going to
everything.
talk to? Yeah. I was like, there's a
Yeah.
lot going on.
What's your favorite place that you've gotten to hike at least?
Um,
Or
I
one of them. Yeah.
yeah. So the Peaks of the Balkans Trail is a short little loop. I like loops through Montenegro, Albania, and Kosovo. And so it was only maybe a week, but it was really cool. It's in the Dinaric Alps, and it's just a really special mountain range. And basically, no one was there hiking. I think we were slightly early, but it was a really unique area. The trail is up and coming. I think a lot more
Okay.
people are gonna start hiking it, but it was steep. It was pretty. There was some snow. There was some, I don't know, everyone was really nice, but it's a really fun area and very affordable.
Are you
Yeah.
seeing other hikers out here on the trails too, or are these lesser used routes?
They're lesser used, but it depended on the time of year, I think for sure. I talked to someone who did the Peaks of the Balkans, and she saw a lot of people when she did it a couple months later. But then I don't know. Yeah, it had to be just more established places. Like the GR11 in Spain, definitely there
Hmm.
was hikers who were there. We hiked the West Highland Way, the opposite direction you're supposed to, and there are just endless streams of people, more people than I've ever seen on any trail. Yeah, so it depended for sure, but then a lot of times no one.
Yeah. So how did you get started in this whole world of through hiking or endurance or being outside in general?
Yeah, I don't know. I was in college, and I stumbled upon the Appalachian Trail Conservancy guidebook that the ATC
Wow.
puts out. Yeah. Wh- I don't, so I was looking for something about I forgot the name of it now, the biking trail. Like there's some biking path that goes from Florida to Maine. And I was trying to find that because I was like, oh, that'd be fun to do some of it because it kind of went by my university. And then I stumbled upon the Appalachian Trail. I grew up in Connecticut, have literally never in my life heard of the Appalachian Trail somehow until I was whatever, 18. And So I read this whole guidebook, this like just bland, boring guidebook about like the Appalachian Trail, and there's this many thru hikers who do it, and yada yada. And in that moment, I was like, I'm gonna hike the Appalachian Trail. It's happening. And so I kind
Wow.
of just said it. I was like, when I graduate in 2020, I'm gonna hike the AT. It's gonna be awesome. And then that like stemmed to the PCT and the CDT, and I was very hooked and just spent 4 years in college listening to every podcast, reading every book. I read so many AT books, but yeah.
Wow. And then what was your trail name and what was the first experience on the AT like?
Well, my trail name on the AT was Ramen, and that was I switched
Original.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. It felt good at the time. So I started the AT in 2020 in February, which you're not supposed to do, I found out, because it's really cold, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
No, that's when I started too. It was smart.
It's a great idea. There's a lot of people out there, big community. But yeah, so February 2nd, I started on the AT, and like the second day, I was talking to someone who worked for the ATC, and he was judging me and this like other random hiker I met that day for all of our life decisions up until that point. He was like, it's 2 p.m. Why are you not hiking still? That's ridiculous. You're never going to make it to Katahdin at this rate. He's like, oh, what are you eating? He's like, oh, you're eating ramen? You're never going to make it. This is actually terrible. I can't get over through hikers and their diet. And he was just going on and on about this long spiel of all the things I'm doing wrong on day 2. And yeah, and so the hiking guy was like, oh, you're ramen now. And I was like, sure. And I'm glad, because I met basically no one else on the AT. So if I didn't take that trail name, there would not have been that many people to name me.
Yeah. And so did you get a new one eventually?
I just, when I started the PCT, I just retired ramen, but I kept
Yeah.
ramen all the way till
But
Katahdin.
no trail name on the PCT?
Stardust.
Stardust. How did you get that one?
Honestly, I gave it to myself because I was sick of not having a trail name, and I liked, there's this quote. It was we are all stardust with delusions of grandeur. And so I started like writing that in the logbooks, and then I don't know. I'm kind of slightly antisocial, I guess. Depends on the day, but I didn't meet enough people, and I was around 300 miles in, and I was sick of not having a trail name, so I just was like, whatever, we're gonna go with it. And
Yeah,
I kept it. I like it.
Yeah, this is a good conversation because I've always kind of wondered that, like, when should people be able to give themselves a trail name? And I don't think it's mile 0, but I don't think they have to wait till 1,000 either. So it's probably in that like 200 range. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't told that many people. I lied about it when I was on trail, because I was like, I can't tell people that I gave myself. So I would just kind of like tell people different vague reasons why my name was Stardust, and I was like, I don't have anything fun for it, and it was dropped.
You didn't make up like a really good thing, like
No, I did. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, what did I say? It's actually not that interesting, so I don't even want to say it. But I had a thing.
And then, so going back to the AT, was that
Yeah.
2020 and COVID and everything?
It
So
sure was.
how did that change your experience? Because it must have hit midway and things got crazy quick.
Yeah, I feel like it was a really original experience, honestly. I'm glad it happened how it did. And I'm especially glad that I started in February, because if I didn't get the 800 miles I got done before COVID like officially started mid-March, then I think there's a really good chance I wouldn't have gone back, or I definitely wouldn't have done it in 2020. So I did the first 800 miles, and then they're like, COVID, it's really bad. I had some friends telling me that if they found me on trail, they were going to transport me to like a soccer field, and I would have to wait out my days quarantining. And it felt like Walking Dead, and I got kind of scared. So I left, and I went back to Connecticut for like a month and a half. And then beginning of May, I heard rumblings that people were still out on trail. So I just went right back to where I started in Virginia, except this time I hiked the AT in the stupidest way you could possibly do it. I
Crocs?
bought no, 7-day food carries, many 7-day food carries. So I bought all of my food in Connecticut at Walmart's when there was no selection. I was like,
Hmm.
where are all the Norris pasta sides? So I had all the food. I was good. I had them all like designated in 7-day chunks. And I was not eating enough calories, so it was pretty light to be fair. I didn't really know that you're supposed to properly eat to fuel yourself to hike, which I found out later is really, really important. But my parents every weekend would drive to wherever I was on the AT and give me my box and my 2 anchors, and then they would drive back. And then they would drive back another time, and they did that for most of the trail. And so I barely went
Wow.
into towns. I saw basically no one. I had most of the shelters to myself. The last 300 miles, my sister joined, and then we kind of had a more traditional through hiking experience because they cared less in New Hampshire and Maine.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it was hard, but it was worthwhile, I guess, you know?
Was it contentious out there? Like people saying you shouldn't be out there? And did you
Yeah.
run into a lot of that?
Yeah. I had a lot of people telling me that it was very dangerous what I was doing and very selfish of me to be out here hiking. And they were also out there hiking,
Mm.
but it was okay for them to be doing it, but it really wasn't okay for me to be doing it, especially when I
Huh.
didn't go into any towns. I also didn't stay next to anyone in the shelters, but they had their opinions at the time.
Well, I think that's the style of opinion that really has shaped our world today of I can do it, but you can't.
Yeah, for sure.
And so did that make you want to do the PCT the next year for a more normal experience, or what did you just know you were going to do the Triple Crown? How did it progress? Because it was like 3 years, boom, 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 right?
Yeah, it was. So when I finished the AT, I hated the AT. Honestly, it was one of the overall, I was like, this was a terrible experience. But I was like, I think the PCT would be better. And I just like felt like it would. And I didn't when I finished at Katahdin. I wasn't like, okay, next year PCT for sure. But I felt that COVID was still going to go on for a little bit longer. So I felt like that was a good enough excuse not to get a real person job. And I may as well just through hike just one more year, because I could just wait until like this whole disease thing passes by. So that
Hmm.
was my main motivation, was I had the window, I guess. But
Yeah, just one more year. I've fallen into that trap, and
yeah,
now I'm 35 and I'm still saying just one more year. No big deal.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, how did you? And then the CDT was like, well, just one more year. I only got one left.
Yeah, well, that one was more, it was going to happen. I mean, me and Eric, we started hiking like mile 900 of the PCT. So we ended
Hmm.
up hiking 900 to the end. So we were chatting. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we did the CDT together next year? Wouldn't that be so wild and crazy? And yeah, and then we started dating after the trail. So it became very official.
And then when you said you were doing the CDT, he had to pretty much.
Yeah, well, he was down to do it. He wanted to, but yeah, it was, yeah.
So I'm curious too, like it's a fun dynamic that you hiked one, well, I don't know, alone, COVID-y too. But how did it shift once you were hiking with a partner? Was it hard to just have your own experience and one as a couple, or did you enjoy it? Like, how did that differ?
Yeah, so I went into the PCT assuming that all trails were antisocial because of the AT experience. So I went into it being like, I'm not going to meet anyone on the PCT. And I had the goal of doing sub 100 days on the PCT. I was like, I'm going to do it. It's going to be great. So I was even more aware that I was kind of seeing people for maybe like a day or a day and a half, and then I would just kind of pass on by. So I figured I'm not going to meet anyone who's going to be going the exact pace I was going, but that's kind of crazy because the PCT, there's always someone going relatively your pace, I feel. So yeah, when I met Eric, he had the same goal of doing sub 100 days. So it didn't feel that difficult.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know when it was solidified that we were for sure going to finish together, but for a while it was just like we're going each other's pace and we were just pushing each other to do even bigger, stupider days. So it was just really fun. We were like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if we did like a 50 and we could hang out in town for 12 hours and not sleep? And that became enough to keep propelling us forward. So yeah, it didn't really feel like it was hindering my personal, like, individual trail hike, but yeah, if anything,
Mhm.
it advanced it for sure.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, you like spreadsheets and lists too? Me too. Let's keep
Yeah,
pushing our spreadsheets forward.
it was so dumb. Actually, a miracle we didn't get injured. I'm not gonna lie.
And then so what happens when you're done with the Triple Crown? Are you like, we need more goals? Like, because it's a huge thing to accomplish, and then it's like there's no next Grand Slam or anything.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard because no, it's funny. So everyone always asks us when they see us on trail, like, have you oh, you have the Triple Crown. And Eric always says, like, oh, I do, but he doesn't. So then no one really is impressed by anything he does, even though he's hiked really good mountain trails. He
Yeah.
just is like, I don't care about the East. And so yeah, I know that anything we do after that point is like kind of irrelevant to most people. So it kind of cleared it made it there's more options. And I didn't
Hmm.
realize it because yeah, we did the CDT and then we knew we were doing Europe in 2024, so we only had 1 year in between that, and we were just like, okay, we'll just do some small little trails and ventures and it'll be fine because we had that like next big goal, I think, and we saw that
Hmm.
kind of as like the next thing after the Triple Crown kind of.
Yeah, I mean, just it becomes like you can chase any adventures you want once well, for you,
Yeah,
Eric, too
sure.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one day maybe.
Yeah, if he ever does the AT, like,
Who
too
knows?
bad.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by John G. I'm wearing the 2-in-1 shorts right now. I'm out in California. I think I can call everything a work trip because always training. ABT, always be training. 2-in-1 shorts. And I guess I'm a runner out here. California carpet, baby. JohnG.com, use code FREEOUTSIDE for 10% off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how did you kind of decide to get into the ultra running world too?
Yeah, that actually stems from college. So I was, again, super into through hiking. That was all I cared about. If you talk to me, that's literally all I would talk about. And I was subscribed to like REI emails, and I happened to get an email from someone who contributed to the REI newsletter. His Instagram handle is semi rad. I forgot his real name,
Brendan
but
Leonard, yeah. Yep.
yes. So he, in 2017, he made this article or whatever that was how to run a 100-miler in 20 weeks. And he had this really cool video alongside it. And I read it and I watched the video and I said, I had no idea people have ever ran 100 miles. This is how I'm very easily motivated by reading anything online, apparently. And I saw that. I was like, I'm going to run a 100-miler in 20 weeks. It's going to be great. And I just get into running from there. And it definitely takes more than 20 weeks, but like a year and a half after that, I ran a very slow 100-miler and it was really, really hard. But yeah, so I got into running to kind of distract myself from through hiking obsessions.
Which one did you run?
Tesla Hertz, 104.8 miles, 10.4 mile loops on Long Island, making it 4 consecutive marathons in a row.
Oh, wow. That sounds brutal.
I finished last.
But you finished.
But I finished. I was wheeled off at a little red wagon to get the quarter mile to the car, and they told me don't feel bad. One other guy had to do it. And it made me feel bad.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Someone else also had to be wheeled off the course.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was good.
And then did you want to do more after that, or how did you kind of think about the combination of running and through hiking?
Yeah, I did one and I was proud of that, and I figured that would be it, one and done. But a few weeks went by and I was like, okay, well, I think I'll probably do another one at some point. I didn't necessarily think I would get as into it as I feel like I am now, always scheming to find another 100-miler to throw into the year. But yeah, it was really hard and I had a hard time. So I'm surprised I did another one, but it did take, I did that first one in 2019. I didn't do another one for like 2 years. So it took a little bit, 3 years, maybe 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the draw is to do these things that are far from easy and they're even harder to find a space for in your life? Why do you like doing them?
I don't know. I think it stems some like deep down way of um insecurities of being like in a high school and being like, oh man, I had nothing interesting to say, I guess, about myself, and this was inherently something that's interesting, some conversation starter. So I feel like that was really something that like pushed me to do hard things purely for the I don't know. I knew I'd feel good about it, and I knew it'd be something that other people would hear about and be like, well, at least I could start a conversation with her because she did that one cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that would bridge the gap conversationally with some people.
It's so classic because the way to know if someone's done the AT is they'll tell you they've done the AT. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And then is it like something where it's the process that you really enjoy or the accomplishment? Or because I think that's what I struggle with too, is like it kind of sucks when it's over because it's like you got to face reality. But I just love the process of even before, during, and then the after
yeah.
sucks. Do you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. Yeah. Yeah, I love the training, the prep, the planning, the doing it is so fun almost all the time. But then yeah, I can very like specifically remember so many times sitting looking at the Strava or whatever and being like looking at the splits, looking at the map again and again and being like, well, that's it. That's and yeah,
Yeah.
it feels kind of yeah, it's a big come down, but I find I don't know. I've found some helpfulness in like writing trip reports and writing about the experience, but it still sucks because like I want to always be doing them, but you can't always be doing them.
Yeah. Do you remember, especially the first time after the AT, after such a weird experience, did you still have the post-trail depression and the come down from the experience?
Yes, but I feel like it was for different reasons. Like I feel like it was more for COVID and for
Hmm.
different things happening socially, personally, that it was like, I don't know, I would rather be on trail, but I definitely feel like I do a really good job, at least at this point, of finding the next thing to obsess over, and it makes it really easy to get through it. But I know one of these years, when it actually is the last year, I think it's going to be a lot worse, and I think I will get hit by that wave. And I think
Hmm.
that's when I would lean into ultra running, which is also what I would encourage anyone else who has like whatever post-trail depression. You need that one thing to think about after it. And for me, racing is it's exciting enough, and it's like a mini through hike that I don't know, I would lean into
So,
that.
so you already have like the next goal or two planned out when you're doing a goal, and that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
secret
yeah.
to beating post-trail depression.
I think it helps.
I think so
Especially
too.
if there's enough details, if there's like enough, I don't know, other people's reports you can read or different maps you can look into or I don't know. Yeah, there's a
Well,
lot.
yeah. And I think the process driven approach and why that's such a fun part is the planning parts when you're like learning all about it and then you move into doing it. And then if you're done and you get to jump back into planning, then you're good. You're set up for
Yeah,
success.
yeah. But it's again, it's a cycle where I know at some point you hit that wall. That wall is
Hmm.
scary. The wall is like probably here on the screen or so.
Yeah.
But
How do you guys afford to do all this stuff?
yeah, so for the first 4 years we were living in a vehicle. So that really helped. Not paying
Yeah.
rent. Yeah, so we would live out of we had first a Toyota pickup 93. It was great, very airy. No matter what, whether you wanted it to be or not. And we lived out of the pickup truck in Salt Lake City and then a little bit in Phoenix. And yeah, we worked a lot. We've always both had like our full-time job and then dabbled with I don't know, DoorDash, Instacart, Amazon delivery, stuff like that to like fill in the gap. So it was pretty much don't pay rent and work 6, 7 days
Mhm.
a week.
Yeah, I think that's the
Mhm.
part that is lost when a lot of people look at adventures on like all the things you sacrifice to put into doing them, and which is why it's easier to criticize people for doing stuff than to actually put the effort in to do it yourself, because it does take being so frugal, possibly living in a car, working 7 days a week, so that you do get 7 months of exploration and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I know people have told me time and time again that I'm really lucky. And like, they're like, oh, I wish I could do that sort of thing. And I know it kind of falls on deaf ears that like, you really, really can. If you really do want to prioritize it, it is so possible. But you have to make sacrifices before, and you also might have to make sacrifices during. Like, I'm personally a full supporter of when you do your through hike, I don't think you should go to every town. I don't think you should
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think you should have a restaurant meal every single time just because you're there. I feel like if you make those little sacrifices, they add up. And I don't think that a through hike has to be $10,000 to do, but that is a hot take. And I fully like, if you want to do that, that's great. But if you don't want to do that, I don't think you should not through hike just because you don't have $10,000 to hike BAT for 6 months.
Yeah,
So,
and I also think all of these things that are big life decisions, and we'll throw through hike in there, even though it's a non-traditional big life decision, is like along the way to even getting to the start line, you have all these tests on like, how much do you want to do this? Can you not go out with your friends one night? Can you eat cheaper? Can you like, I don't know, survive on living in a cheaper spot? Like all of these are little tests on how much you actually want to do that goal that these things are pointed to. And I think it's so easy for people to just give up and call the people who do make those sacrifices lucky and just say that they could never do that. When I think even in just like the last 10 years, it feels like that's changed so much. And it bothers me because I'm like you, I want to just scream from the rooftops. Like, if you want to do it bad enough, like you can figure it out. There's more ways to figure it out now than ever before.
yeah. Yeah. It was like, if you want to, you could pee behind the dumpster next to the 24-hour gym because there's no other places to do it in the middle of the night. That's like that is a choice.
Yeah, that is
Anyone
certainly
any
a choice.
anyone can make it.
So what is it like living in a car? Like where are you showering? Are you like having to, I don't know, present yourself at your jobs and stuff like you didn't live in a
Yeah.
car? Are you hiding it? Are you parking around the corner?
No, I mean, my job was really cool. I was working for the Forest Service, so I told them pretty quickly. I was like, yeah, do you mind if I shower at the office? And they said, no, no one uses it, so you may as well. And they also have a kitchen, and I was like, do you mind if I sometimes use your stove? Because before we would either cook on the stove at my work, or we had like our camp stove that we would just cook out of the front seat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so work didn't really care for the most part. Eric's work didn't care because he worked at a running shop and they have showers there too. And we had a 24-hour gym membership. And yeah, it was mostly pretty chill. But yeah, finding campsites is kind of harder because you have to, make sure you don't get the knock. You never want the knock in the middle of the night. But we've been pretty lucky and only happened a handful of times.
Do you have a good knock story?
Oh no, I have a better story than a knock story.
Okay.
The first day that me and Eric started dating slash moved into his pickup truck, we were in Berkeley, California, and he was like, "Oh, it'll be great. We'll sleep on the street. Like, I think it'll be fine." And I was like, "Cool, whatever." So we sleep in the back of his pickup truck and wake up at 4 a.m. to like hearing something. I was like, "That's weird." And so like we look through, there's a camper shell and then a little window, and we look through the window and there's a guy in the front seat of the pickup truck. And me and, and Eric was like, so he like shoved me down. He like yells, he's like, "Hey, get out of here." And the guy was like, because he was gonna, try and hotwire the car or whatever and steal it. But he looked, saw Eric, and he's like, "That's funny." Got out of the car, hopped into his buddy's car, and they drove off.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was day one of living in a vehicle. Day one. And I was like, oh, this is a terrible omen. This is our first date, I guess. And like, now I found out that the car is really easy to break into. And all we ever had was we just slept next to bear spray. So we were like, if someone breaks in, I guess this is it. But yeah, so a 93 Toyota pickup, super easy to pick the lock on, I found out. Fun fact.
And
But
so
yeah.
are you questioning all of your decisions at that point?
Yeah, for sure. But I felt like I was already there. I may as well see it through. So
And so
yeah.
what's it like when you move in together into a pickup? Are you bringing just like a tiny collection of belongings, or
Yeah.
what do you bring?
Yeah, I flew across the country with 2 backpacks. Yep. Because we were moving to Utah. I basically, after the PCT ended, I called him up and I was like, "Yo, I'm going to Utah. I think I applied for a bunch of jobs. I think I'm gonna live there." And he was like, "Oh, well then I'll live there too, and you can live in the back of my pickup truck with me." And I was like, "Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, let's do that." And so yeah, I brought a big like Osprey 65-liter pack because I needed it for work because I was doing wilderness therapy at the time, and then a backpack of clothing. So yeah, I had my camping gear and then some clothes. And yeah, it was a really tight space. Our plank of wood that we put a like mattress topper on it, it was 6 by 2.5 feet, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and then it was like backed up right next to the storage compartment over like the wheel well that Eric's friend built him. But yeah, you crawl through the window every time because you can't get out the back because it's locked from the other side. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard. Now, like the Honda Odyssey that we've been living in, has been so much better. And even now, like we're living in a room also that we're renting in an Airbnb, so we have like actually leveled up, but the pickup truck was really hard.
Yeah, that must just make you appreciate life so much more too. Start
Yeah.
living in a 6x2 space, and now you've got a room.
It's huge. There's even a kitchen that you could use and a bathroom all hours. Very exciting stuff. People don't talk
Yeah.
about it, but
Yeah, and then are you guys down in Arizona? How did you end up?
we're in
Where are you at?
Albuquerque now.
Oh, that's right.
It's
I heard that.
awesome. It's so good. We've only been here
Yeah.
2 months, and the mountain access is so much better than Phoenix, which makes sense, but it is very nice being here, honestly.
Yeah. And so what's next? What are the next big goals?
This summer we want to hike the Four Corners Loop, which is
Okay.
it's 2,400 miles, and it goes, I don't know, we've been trying to decide where to start it because it's a loop, and we're thinking start it in southern Utah and go through all the slot canyons in southern Utah. It follows the Arizona Trail for a while, connects to the Mogollon Rim, eventually connects to the CDT a little bit, the Get, goes, yeah, north through New Mexico, up to Colorado, a little bit of the CDT, CT, and pieces its way through the Uintas and Wasatch to close the loop.
Dang.
But it's really cool looking. So we've been digging into that trail a bit.
Yeah. So what would you tell someone who's like nervous about taking the plunge into like a life of adventure like you have?
It's not that scary, I guess. Like people will be there to support you along the way. Almost everyone you meet is really nice and friendly, and
But
you
what
just don't
about
need.
bears? Yeah.
Yeah, they might kill you. You never know. You really can't ever know. You'll probably be fine statistically, which is really easy to say about bears, but for me, mountain lions, every single time it's night, I am positive I'm going to be one of the statistics. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And so they might. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, you're more likely to die on the way to the trail. Probably. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a
that's what
real
they say.
statistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what are like the longer term plans? Do you guys want to get more into running, jobs, or just keep the through hiking going as long as you can?
Jobs probably, but it's really scary to say. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's calling me about the job world besides money, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Don't do it as long as you don't need to.
Yeah, but at some point we do want more stability because it is harder to afford things yearly if we're not going to live in a vehicle. That's just the math of it. If you're not making more than a little over minimum wage, it's pretty hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's at some point more work, but fitting in more ultras hopefully and
Hmm.
smaller trips because we are feeling more and more content with all of the trails that we have gotten to do. So we're feeling really good about the areas we've been able to see, especially out west. So it's it's been good.
Hmm.
So
How have doing all these adventures and I mean just the sacrifice able to see all these cool things, how has that kind of changed you and your maybe thoughts and opinions on life and everything? How has all this changed the person who was growing up in Connecticut?
it's kind of wild. It makes me appreciate everything, especially anywhere I'm at, even if it's kind of a little bit boring, a little bit gross. I'm like, at least it's not Connecticut. I feel so bad. Anyone in the East, they're gonna hate me. Well, Connecticut's great. I love it. But no, I feel like it has shaped basically everything, honestly. Everywhere I go, everyone I meet, I'm just more excited. I feel like I'm more intuitive. I think more about what's going on and I want to, yeah, I don't know, just appreciate everything around me. So I don't know.
And I think a lot of people look at through hikes as, it's, oh, you're having an adventure, but you also learn so much about how everything works on like, don't bring enough food. You get hungry. If you don't carry enough water, you're thirsty. You got to stretch your budget. You got to make decisions, sacrifices, and save up money. I've always said doing the PCT at 20 is the reason I even grew up because I had to like learn the consequences of actions too. Did you kind of feel that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially growing up in Connecticut, I was definitely sheltered. I grew up in a relatively overprotective household, and when I left to go start on these long trails, that was the first time I ever had to do anything for myself ever. So,
Hmm.
yeah, just feeling confident to rely on myself is one of the coolest things to know that I can get out of whatever situation, even if it's just me, that I can hitch out of this situation. I can ask for help. I can keep walking until I get to the next water, even if I'm really thirsty, just to like have that mentality. I feel like can get you out of so many situations out on trails, but also just in life. You're
Yeah.
like you can get past whatever's going on. It'll pass and you'll figure it out. But yeah, it definitely made me grow up and figure stuff out on my own.
I wish more people had that experience because there's so many excuses these days on like, if you're out of water and you're on your own, like, who are you going to blame? Like, you got to just get to the next water and that's the only option. I think those kind of things where it's like, you just got to figure out a way to do it is something we just don't get in society. And I think people look at the through hiking world as like privileged to go on a through hike, but it's also like a really valuable way to learn these lessons that go back hundreds of thousands of years that most people never have to learn anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, back to your roots for sure. This is what our I feel like the cavemen would be like, "Why are you doing this? It was so much easy. You guys figured it out. You don't have to do what we're doing." But I also feel like they'd appreciate it. They would respect it.
Yeah, a caveman comes to current times or a hunter gatherer and is like, you guys have grocery stores. Why are you still walking in the woods? Like, you don't need
Hmm.
to do any of this.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
for sure.
houses. Um, last, if you have, I'm curious on a story, if you have a good wildlife encounter story from your
Ooh.
adventures.
Yeah, let's go. I got bear. Oh, no. Uh, yeah, I'll go bear. Bear is fun. In Glacier National Park on like day 3 of the CDT, I was walking down. It was like a really overgrown trail and it was raining and I'm just going straight and then I see that there's this bear coming towards me and I was like, "Oh, cool, there's a bear." And then like a few minutes later or a few seconds later, I'm like, "Oh no, there's a bear. It's like going towards me. Like I have to do something now." So I didn't know exactly what to do. So I was just, yelling, "Hey bear," because that's what they understand, and backing up down the trail. And I like kind of go around like a bend and then I see I don't see the bear for a second because it got out of eyesight, and then the bear starts running towards me. And I was like, oh no, I really don't know what to do. So there's a cliff on the left, and then on the right, it's kind of a lot of brambles. So I start like picking my way up the brambles. And then there's a moment where like I'm above the bear, and then the bear is on the trail looking up at me on the hill. And then he turns up the brambles and starts following me.
Oh.
And I was like, and I'm clutching the bear spray. So I was like, I don't know. I don't want to have to use this on day 3. That feels so silly. But I'm just yelling, "Hey bear," and I'm watching how gracefully it like jumps over like all of these tree like logs and everything, and I'm just kind of falling behind. But yeah, so it was eventually circle back, get to trail, start walking, and I was like, okay, I think I'm good. I don't know where the bear is, but I'm probably fine. I get to like a wide open area. I'll just wait here until Eric shows up, which I found out later. He was still just in camp sleeping, and it would be a long time. So I'm like sitting there waiting. It's kind of raining. I'm up on like these rocks, and then I see the bear again, and I was like, oh. And he walks by me, and I was like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm just gonna keep walking on the trail. He's not going that direction. But then Mama Bear comes by, and I was like,
Oh.
so like I freeze, and I sit, and I'm just sitting on these rocks, and then the mom sits. I don't know. It wasn't that close to me, but it was within eyesight. Just sits slightly below the trail, and I was like, I've never seen a bear sit in my life. So then I'm just sitting waiting for this bear to leave because I'm sure I'm going to die at this point. And then after 10 long minutes, the bear gets up and goes, and that's it. But it was very exciting. Wow. It was like, yeah. It wasn't like, I've never been charged by a bear, or I've never had those kind of experiences. Hopefully one day, but.
Yeah, you're really living when you get charged by a bear.
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
Fun times. Yeah, so what, the bear was just like sitting like a dog or something?
Like, yeah, it was like splayed out kind of. And
wow.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen, but it was the adolescent bear is the one that was following me, but it was still like 200 pounds. And then when I saw the mama bear, I was like, oh, that's a bear.
I've had the same experience with bear spray too, where it's like, I can't use this now. This is like $50.
I know. Yeah, it's pretty
so
good.
Bad.
Yeah.
It's such a bad mindset.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for doing this. This was awesome. Just storytelling and life of adventure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you'd like to say as a winner of a Jeffrey? Like, how has it changed your life?
Okay, so the only thing I want to say is I had this thought last week, and I think it's $1 million idea. So I want to bring it to you to see what you think about it. And if anyone's listening and has the means to make this happen, I feel like it would be really good for the community, for the thru-hiking community. Maybe you could include the ultra running community. I don't know how it would financially play out, but I was thinking that assisted living homes are kind of sad a lot of the times. Like, it really depends how much money you have to throw into assisted living. But I think it would be really fun to make an assisted living community that's a thru-hiking assisted living community. So we would need to start this now because there's not enough people who are old enough to fill the rooms and stuff. But I feel like with enough advertising as the decades go by, there'll be enough people who can maybe want to join a fellow assisted living community with other people who have thru-hiked. And it'll be just like assisted living. So some people will be going strong with the community. Other people might need more medical support. There'll be medical people on standby for all that jazz. But I was thinking we find a plot of land around Warner Springs or something like that, because we'll all be old. We'll want to be in the wintry climate, or in the good winter climate. And I feel like this could be $1 million idea, because a lot of times in assisted living, there's no community of people who can relate to you. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I should say this to a broader audience because it came to me, and
I've got it. We'll name it Tramily.
Tramily. It'll be perfect.
Tramily for all your assisted living needs.
Yeah. This is great. Okay, this is good.
Yeah. So, because, there's in a tramily, sometimes there's different ages. They can put the old person in the assisted living home, and then 10 years later, they'll join. Yeah, I think, and maybe we can get sponsors or something too. They can do some thru-hiking consulting.
Probably.
Yeah. Ramen. Yeah.
Ramen for sure.
Big ramen can sponsor, especially when people don't have any teeth because they ate too much candy.
I know. Oh yeah, and the meals are gonna be pretty through hiker related. A lot of ramen bombs at lunchtime. Get them
Like
back to their roots.
every Thursday is like a ramen bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. What could be the desserts? Like
Sour Patch Kids.
yeah, like Little Debbie's stuff.
Yeah.
This is a great idea. I mean,
Thank you.
think with the diet though, people would die very quick.
That's why we got to keep getting the word out, get the beds filled, advertise on the trails.
We gotta have a big wait list, and like they put out trail magic, so they have like a reason to keep living. That's what they do for the.
That's why I think it should be on a trail somewhere. So like, imagine 100 miles in, you meet 45 old decrepit individuals, just being like, "I was once you." It'll really reality check you as a through hiker, and you'll also remember that when you're getting a little older, and you'll be like, "Oh, they seemed fun."
Yeah, and then you can just start every sentence with "back in my day" as you're talking to the current through hikers.
Yeah, and you could judge everything they're doing about how soft they are.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Back in my day, we used to post on TikTok. None of your current social media BS."
Yep.
All right, this is a perfect idea. We'll see if we can collect some investors.
Okay.
I think, maybe we'll have like 2 locations, like the ramen house and the tramway house, something like that.
That's perfect. Yeah. I like it.
Okay, you can have some ownership. We'll see if we can launch this thing.
Just partial, just something. I want to have some involvement.
Yeah. Maybe you can be director of activities or something.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. I like it.
Director of day hikes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll put your Jeffrey on the wall.
Oh yeah, it'll be there for sure.
Like people have their diplomas in the background framed. Yours will just be a Jeffrey.
Yeah. Just one award. That's all I have to show for my years of. Oh, I'm going to try for it again.
So I have one last question. How did it feel to beat Eric in this category?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to be nominated multiple years for him and to still just not make it. Especially when I feel like I came out of nowhere. So he was pretty disappointed about it, but he does support me. So like he was very happy for me.
We don't want to break up relationships, and a couple
it's
both
made us
nominated.
Stronger.
Okay. Stronger through failure.
Yeah. He's going to try again this year too, also. Don't worry.
It must really suck that you completed the double TRT and got Tragic FKT, and he didn't complete it and lost.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some. Or you win, you lose all of them. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor just to be nominated is what you should say.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for jumping on. This was great.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the show. It's really fun to dive into what people do to go after their goals and follow their dreams, live outdoors. And there's such a sacrifice that I think we bury sometimes. So it's really fun to talk to Krista. I've got to get her husband, Eric, on. We tried one time, but, bad connection. He was living out of his car. So we'll try again. Please support our sponsors, CS Coffee, CS Instant, Coffee, and Garage Grown Gear. And tell them I sent you, along with John G, johng.com. Use code free outside. And then our latest sponsor, Sawyer, that has water filters, permethrin. I treated all my stuff with that to prevent ticks and mosquitoes on the AT. And they've also got sunscreen, which we are big fans of because it stays on all day. It's actually called the Stay Put Sunscreen. So check that out. Give us a like, subscribe. Watch us on YouTube, subscribe over there. And stay elite, my friends.